Hello and welcome to Business Analysis Training. I will do a demonstration of our training program, and we will also talk about the role of a business analyst in an organization and explain the benefits of our training program. So the agenda for this demo is I'll introduce myself and I will explain what business analysis is. Following that, we will look at why you should be a business analyst, and I'll make a case from three different dimensions: significance of a business analyst, the money involved in the IT industry, and the prerequisites that one needs to possess in order to become a business analyst. We will look at the real-time BA opportunities and establish why business analyst role is the top IT job in the industry. Following that, we'll look at training topics and our offerings and how we are different from other training organizations. My name is Naveen, and I possess a master's in computer science and a master's in business administration from Texas State University. I am a PFMP certified candidate, which is portfolio management professional. I'm also a project management professional certified candidate from PMI. I'm also a PMI PBA certified candidate. I also am a certified Scrum Master. I possess about 15 years of experience in different capacities across different domains in the United States. I started my career as a business analyst, then worked my way up to become a lead business analyst. Then eventually I took over as a project manager and then worked on some complex programs as program manager, and also transitioned over to become a portfolio manager. Currently, I'm working as a portfolio manager for Fortune 100 companies in California. I also had to wear multiple hats during my experiences as a product manager, UAT lead, process engineering specialist, or a QA at times. I have been coaching people in the areas of business analysis and project management for the past over 8 years, and I've trained over 1,000 students so far. As I mentioned earlier, some of my experiences that span across different domains are finance. Within finance, I did have opportunities to work in banking, credit cards, and mortgage sectors. I also had experiences in life insurance and general insurance sectors. I had experiences in healthcare, pharmaceutical, travel, telecom, and some of the pure IT organizations. Finally, I am a member of various professional bodies such as Project Management Institute, Agile Alliance, Scrum Alliance, American Marketing Society, American Marketing Association, American Society for Quality, and Toastmasters. So the reason why I'm talking about my experiences, education, membership, and exposure to different domains is I want you to understand that the knowledge and the information that I'll be bringing to this platform is not necessarily from a textbook. It is real time. It will enable you to become a business analyst in 2017 and beyond. Business analyst role has transformed quite a bit after 2008, and today you as a business analyst will have to perform multiple things besides business analysis. One of the ways I get to know about that is by my association with various professional bodies, and also by my experiences in different roles. I get to see business analysts, work with business analysts, and also being a business analyst myself. I understand the challenges, I understand the opportunities, and I understand the techniques that one has to employ in order to become a successful business analyst. So therefore, I'm going to be bringing my knowledge, my experience, and all the information that I acquired through my associations and experiences to this platform so that we can enable you to become business analysts. Without further ado, let's go ahead and understand who a business analyst is. Business analysts are individuals who would partake in the discipline of identifying a business need, gathering requirements, analyzing the requirements, and documenting the requirements. Only 4 simple tasks. But I have a question for you. Do we live in a perfect world? No, we don't. We don't live in a textbook world. Therefore, according to the textbook world, if it's just these 4 different tasks, in reality, the story is a little different. If it was just these 4 different tasks, you would not need any training program or any training assistance. Also, according to International Institute of Business Analysts, which is a professional body, business analysis is about being a liaison among stakeholders in order to understand the structure, policies, and operations of an organization and to recommend solutions that enable the organization to achieve its goals. So who is a business analyst in reality? In reality, there are 2 groups of people. One is the business users, and the second kind is the technical teams. Individuals who would use a computer program to perform their function, to fulfill some of the responsibilities, would be classified as business users in this context. For example, if you go to a hospital, physicians, doctors, nurses would use some computer programs to manage patients, to diagnose patient diseases, to prescribe medicines. If you go to a bank manager, bank teller would use some software programs in order to conduct transactions. If you go to a sales organization, a sales analyst would use some computer software to look at the previous sales, to forecast future sales. So any individual or group using a computer program or a computer software to accomplish their primary responsibilities would be classified as business users. The second group here is the programmers, architects, database analysts, testers, who would actually build a software from scratch or who would actually customize a software. But the challenge is these 2 groups of people do not speak the same language. There's a gap. And that gap is bridged by an individual who is called as a business analyst. So this is who you are. Put your name, put your picture in the spot. So as a business analyst, our job is to be able to gather the requirements, understand what the business users would need in terms of a computer software, document it in such a fashion that the technical teams can understand what it is. Also, BA role is a multifunctional role, as I alluded to earlier. It depends on the organization, the project needs, and the client preferences. In fact, you as a business analyst may also have to double up as a project manager, as a tester, as a sales consultant, depending on the type of project that you're working on, depending on the organization that you're working on. Let me illustrate the significance of a business analyst. Why is a business analyst important in an organization? There are 10 different representations in this slide. I'm going to be calling this as number 1 on the top row to the far left. This is how the customer explained it. The customer said, I want a multi-tier ladder to be hung by a branch of a tree. This is how the project leader understood it. The swing to be hung by 2 branches of a tree. This is how the architect designed it. The tree itself is supported by 2 branches rooted into the ground. And look at the swing. It's not even useful. Look at number 4. This is how the programmer wrote it. It's not even functional. The programmer just tied the rope to the trunk of the tree. This is how the business consultant or the salesperson explained it. Salespeople are individuals who try to paint a pretty picture, which is what is being happening here. The guy is saying, oh, this is a nice, comfortable sofa where you can sit and swing with all the beautiful sunlight in the background. Look at number 6, bottom row to the far left. This is how the project was documented. No documentation whatsoever. Why did the operations team install a piece of rope? Well, how was the customer billed in number 8? For a roller coaster. Honestly, I think everybody knows that there's a lot of money in IT industry. In fact, in the past, we have trained students who came from diverse backgrounds. People who had no prior IT experience, no prior business analysis experience. people from life sciences, biotechnology, pharmacy, engineering, HR, accounting, business administration, commerce, arts. I even had students who came from very unconventional domains to become a business analyst, such as airline pilots, air hostess, real estate agent, librarian, forensic analyst, teachers, media people, lawyers, salesperson, car salesperson. So anybody can come into IT industry and become a business analyst. And primary reason is there's a lot of money and there are a lot of opportunities, which we will look at in a few minutes. Anyway, how was the application supported? No support whatsoever. Look at number 10. What is it the customer really needed? Customer needed a tire that could be hung by a branch of a tree. See, in this entire representation, there is no business analyst. If there was a business analyst, that person would have started from number 10, because the job of a business analyst is to go gather the requirements, document them, manage the requirements, and work with the technical teams. The person would have understood what the business users would require. Once the person understands what the business users would require and then gather the needs and the requirements, then that business analyst would document those requirements. So my number 6 would have been number 2. And once you have the documentation, that will serve as a baseline, and everyone would refer to those documents and do their job. Let me go ahead and illustrate some other examples of the criticality of a business analyst. We normally hear about Hall of Fame. People who do very well would have been inducted into Halls of Fame. Halls of Shame, people who do pathetically, people who do not do very well would be inducted into Halls of Shame. There are some enthusiasts on the internet that actually put together some Halls of Shame pertaining to software applications. The very popular iPhone was inspired by a product. Apple had a product. We all think Apple is a great company. They do not have any failures. However, in 1990s, Apple had a product called as Apple Newton, which was the PDA, Personal Digital Assistant. However, after PDA, after this Apple Newton being in the market for a few months, it was a total disaster. It would not do its job. It was supposed to work just like an iPhone, but it failed. So they had to stop the production of this gadget, and they had to pull it out of the market. Google. We all know about Google as a company that provides search engine, google.com. If you had to guess how many applications or products Google has altogether, you might be surprised. It's not 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. It's none of that. It's over 1,200 applications. However, we don't know about all these 1,200 applications. We probably can come up with about 25 to 30 applications. Google.com, Google Mail, Google Chat, Google News, Google Maps, Google Docs, Google Drive, Google Hangouts, Google Glass, Google Voice, Google YouTube, Google Videos. However, there are many other applications like Google Scout, Google Catalogs, Google Answers, Google Front Connect, which never saw the light of the day. Not every application that Google produced is a commercial hit. Microsoft started out as a leader in the IT industry. Currently, it's trailing behind the social media companies and mobile startup companies. In fact, in 2012, the revenue of the entire Microsoft was actually less than the revenue of iPhone division of Apple. I can go on and on about many companies and other big name operators who actually failed miserably in the space of IT. Do you know about your bank balances on a daily basis? Maybe not. At least I do not keep a track of my bank balances on a daily basis down to the penny. Two guys providing support to the banking customers from one of the offshore locations employed by a company took advantage of this fact and started transferring 0.01 pennies or a fraction of pennies to an account that they controlled. They were able to do that successfully for about 3 years and stole $3 million. The story came out because one of them actually came out and disclosed that when they had a problem between the two of those. This company that was supposed to provide security services, that was supposed to secure the transactions and stop these fraudulent or unauthorized transactions, failed to have the right business rules, right policies and checks in place. Occasionally, we hear about flight tickets being sold at $1 or $2. This happened in 2013 with United Airlines. Do they really intend to sell flight ticket at $2 a piece? Maybe not. It was a glitch. Or we hear news that all the flights have been delayed. Just a month ago, all the Delta Airlines got delayed because of the software glitch. It happened in October 2016. When Heathrow redid the Terminal 5 and rolled out a new baggage checking-in system, they tested the conveyor belt and all the features associated with that. Customers who want to check in can place their baggage on the conveyor belt and it would take them inside. However, on the day of the launch, customers were placing the baggage on the conveyor belt and it was passing them through scanners. One of the customers pulled the baggage back because the customer wanted to get something from their suit, from their bag. And the system collapsed. The system got confused. And it stopped functioning. It took about 10 days for them to refix that. Or we hear about news where medicines or drugs would be recalled from the shelves of the pharmacy. Why? Would these pharmaceutical organizations not know that these drugs can cause these side effects, cause these illnesses? Maybe not. Maybe they had faulty clinical trial management software at the time of the clinical trials. In 2009, 2010, you must have heard on the news that children's Tylenol, children's Motrin were recalled from the shelves of the pharmacy. 2008 financial collapse. One of the words or one of the phrases that we hear is subprime mortgage. Giving away loans to people who did not qualify. So did these big name lenders and financial institutions not know the people that they were giving away loans to were not eligible to obtain those loans? Did they have faulty systems that calculated the loan to value ratio or debt to income ratio inaccurately? Did they not have the right business rules and checks in place? Maybe not. So irrespective of the industry, irrespective of the popularity, irrespective of the technology, applications fail. Software programs do fail. And I have some metrics here for you. Poorly defined applications, which is a miscommunication between the business and IT, will contribute to a 66% project failure rate according to Forrester research and cost about $30 billion a year in the United States. 60 to 80% of project failure can be attributed directly to poor requirements gathering, analysis, and management, according to Meta Group. Anytime you see the term requirements gathering or requirements, please note that this is a BA-related task, as we mentioned earlier in our slides. Standish Group puts together a report called as Chaos Report. In 1994, out of every 100 projects, 16% of the projects were successful, 31% were challenged, 53% failed. Challenge projects are those projects that had schedule overruns, budget overruns, lack of functionalities, or defective products. It is understandable because in 1994, we didn't have these many technologies. We didn't have these many computers. In fact, every household did not have a computer back in 1994. But let's fast forward to 2015. The success rate is only doubled, almost doubled to 29%, while the challenge rate has gone up 52%. The failure rate has gone down to 19%. The shift was from failures, now we have challenge products. In 2015, every individual has multiple computing devices. There are millions of websites. There are hundreds of technologies. There are thousands of organizations providing educational services, IT services. There are millions of individuals who are IT folks. In spite of that, the success rate is only at 29%. The IT resources have grown exponentially since 1994, but the success rate has not. If you look at the reasons why that has not happened, there are top 5 indicators that will explain why the projects are successful or challenged or why the projects fail. The third reason why the projects are successful is because of clear statement of requirements. In other words, good business analysis. The number 2 reason why projects are challenged is incomplete requirements and specifications, bad business analysis. Number 1 reasons why projects fail, bad BA or no BA. So business analyst is very important for the success of a project. Also, the second dimension, which is the money factor. There's a lot of money involved in IT. I think it goes without saying. Even during the recession years, the spending in IT year over year was in a positive trend, except in 2015 where there was a negative growth. But the outlook for 2017 and beyond looks very promising. Over $3.6 trillion across the globe in various sectors of information technology. Also, from a staffing ratio, out of every 100 IT jobs, 5 architects, 4.2 production support jobs, 2 help desk, 8.4 programmers, and 7.3 business analyst roles, 1.9 PM roles, 2 QA roles are available, according to Computer Economics. Also, BA is one of the top 10 jobs in the United States with a growth outlook of 36%, and it was one of the recession-proof jobs according to Forbes magazine. BAs may earn anywhere from $60,000 to $130,000 a year, depending on the skills. In fact, I also know business analysts who earn much more than $130,000 a year. Let me go ahead and do a real-time challenge. Let me show you the number of jobs that are available out there in the market currently for business analysts. You can go to any of these websites, Dice, Monster, Career Builder, or Indeed, and you can search for a business analyst job right now as we speak. I'm going to just do a general search for business analysts across the United States. And there are currently 47,326 jobs. If I search for career jobs, there are about 30,900 career jobs. If I search for Java programmers, about 39,000 jobs. So you can compare with any other IT job and BA job. You will always find that there are more business analyst jobs than any other IT job. So finally, what are the prerequisites for you to become a business analyst? Number one, BAs are technology and domain neutral. In other words, you don't need to have prior BA experience in a particular domain. You don't need to have prior education in a particular domain to become a business analyst. Anybody can become a business analyst in any domain. Also, you don't need to have a specialized education. You don't need to have a master's, or you don't need to have an MBA or an IT degree to become a business analyst. Anybody can become a business analyst. From a personal skill set standpoint, you should just possess some common sense, communication skills, people skills, and an individual that pays attention to details and has an interest in getting things done. If you possess these, anybody can become a business analyst. Let me shed some light on why it is technology and domain neutral. See, there are many technologies, Java, C++, .NET, SAP, Oracle. But you as a business analyst are not going to be building a solution or programming the software. It is a job of the technology teams. Therefore, you do not need to be a programmer, and therefore your role is a technology neutral role. Also, you don't need to be a domain expert. You don't need to know everything about finance or about pharma domain or about healthcare domain, because there are subject matter experts and domain experts that will give you the requirements. So therefore, you are not necessarily a domain expert. Yes, having some level of process understanding will help you, but that is not a prerequisite. Finally, once you're a business analyst, it can act as a springboard to other careers. You can become a project manager, which is the ideal route for 80% of our students. Or you can become a functional manager, or you can become a product manager, or you can become a systems analyst if you're a technologist. Or you can become a subject matter expert if you are a domain expert. No matter what you choose to become, you'll be able to earn that money and make a profession or a career for yourself. Let me go ahead and talk about the course content. What are we going to be covering in this training program? This is what we were covering up until now, overview of business analysis. In our formal class, we'll talk about the corporate structure and positioning of a business analyst. What are the various types of organizations? How is it that you and I as business analysts are positioned in an organization? What is the authority of a project manager and a functional manager? How do we compare it in different types of organizations? And then we'll talk about the roles and responsibilities of business analyst and the things a BA will do, things BA may do, and things BA will never ever do. Following that, we will look at the general phases of an IT project, which includes the key phases, key people, key activities, key deliverables. We'll do a comparative study between product lifecycle and a software development lifecycle. Also, we will talk about different types of requirements like functional, non-functional, data, GUI, and other types of requirements. After which we'll look at different types of software development lifecycle methodologies such as waterfall, spiral. Within spiral methodology, we will also talk about risk management, risk quantification, how do you calculate risk, how do you manage your risks. And then we'll also look at Agile methodology, which is very popular currently. And we'll talk about extreme programming, Scrum, Rational Unified Process, and do a comparative study between Waterfall and Rational Unified Process. We will look at various types of project documents. Documents are part of planning phase, discovery, requirements, design, and test phases. However, these are not just focused at this point, but they're sprinkled all over the course. We'll also look at unified modeling language. There are 14 diagrams classified into 3 groups: structure, behavior, and interaction. Some of the diagrams are done by business analysts. Some of them are not done by business analysts. Some of them you as a business analyst should just be mindful about. We'll also use a tool such as MS Visio to create some of these diagrams. As a business analyst, you should have some facilitative skills to gather your requirements. How do you elicit your requirements? How do you analyze your requirements? How do you brainstorm? How do you job shadow? How do you conduct JAD sessions, RAD sessions? What other communication skills should you possess? What other skills should you possess in terms of preparation of a status report, or making conference calls, or using a web conferencing tool? We'll look at all of that so that it will enable you to not only gather the requirements, but also gather it effectively by conducting these requirements gathering sessions. As a business analyst, you also need to be aware of various concepts such as requirements traceability matrix, change request management, configuration management, different types of situation analysis, process re-engineering aspects, different types of contracts, architecture, standards. These are the type of things that will make you stand out from the rest of the crowd. Also, we will look at project management concepts. Today, as a business analyst, you are expected to manage some of the projects on operational expenditure projects or enhancement projects. You are expected to double up your role as a PM/BA. And maybe wear a third hat, which is a tester hat. So how do you create test cases? How do you execute the test cases? What are the various steps of testing? We will look at all of these different aspects. And finally, we will cover 7 different domains as part of this training program, which includes finance. Within finance, we'll talk about banking, mortgage, stocks, and bonds. And then we will talk about healthcare domain, pharma, telecom, and billing systems. We will cover enough information for you as a business analyst to get going. For example, what do you mean by money transfer? What do you mean by bill pay? How is a loan request evaluated? How are the prices of shares determined? How is a quote on a health policy determined? How are drugs discovered? What are the various phases of a clinical trial? How are your billing systems operating in order to generate the invoice? How do you get your cell phone bill? How do you get your TV bill, internet bill? What are the various aspects of a call center technology or speech IVR? So we will cover the basics of each of these domains so that it will aid you in understanding the business analysis component of each of these domains. Finally, why should you get trained with us? Our specialty is, as I mentioned earlier, I had an opportunity to train over 1,000 students. And for each of these students, I had 2 clear goals. Number 1, to help a student clear a job interview. Number 2, to help them sustain a job. In other words, make sure that they're not fired from their jobs. So how do you clear a BA job interview? If you cannot clear a BA job interview, all the investment, time, money, effort is worthless. So how can we help you clear a BA job interview? As a business analyst myself, I have done about 85 interviews with a 100% success rate. These are real job interviews. These are interviews that I actually attended as a candidate as part of an experiment. I updated my resume, submitted my resume to different companies and different employers, and got interviews. Every time after the interview, it was either a job offer or I was invited to a second round or a face-to-face round. Some of the companies are Disney, Sony, Blue Cross Blue Shield, FedEx, Bank of America, and other big-name companies as well. So how do you clear a BA job interview for sure? In fact, a lot of people will assume that interview is just a question and answer process. No, it's not a Q&A process. It's much more than that. It's a forum where you have to brand yourself. It's a platform where you have to stand out from the rest of the crowd. It's a platform where you have to control the narrative and the conversation as a candidate. Other organizations will talk about interview process after the training is done, but here we will talk about the interview process from day one of the training program. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is if you are able to clear the job interview or not. So to help you with that, we have a variety of tools and materials that we use in order to achieve that goal. A lot of people, as I said, do not even understand the significance of an interview. Let me tell you, yes, there are a lot of job openings, but at the same time, there's a lot of competition. If there's one job, there are multiple resumes. There are tens of resumes. And then the interviewing manager will probably interview about 10 people or so for a particular job after filtering out some of the resumes. At the end of the day, when the interviewing manager goes back to his or her desk, will they remember what you said? Are you memorable during the job interview? Are you appearing too desperate to get the job? Don't. How do you answer in a structured story format? How do you win the job interview? How do you personalize your brand? Sometimes interview questions are not what they appear on the surface. You have to decode the interview questions. And there are questions that you cannot afford to miss. So we will cover all of these aspects pertaining to job interviews from day one of the class so that it will help you to stand out from the rest of the crowd. Also, there are other materials that will aid you to have that extra information associated with the topics. Everybody can talk about requirements. Everybody can talk about use cases. But we have put together some extra information that is going to give you some extra brownie points in an interview. You will have access to all of these extra reads. For every concept that is discussed in the class, there is an associated extra read. So now that you are able to clear the job interview and achieve your first goal, you will celebrate and you will have to start your job. But the real challenge comes now. You never worked as a business analyst. You never did this before. You never used any tools and templates. So how will you sustain? How will you do your job? How can you even speak? How can you facilitate a meeting? So what we've done is we will allocate each of you each one of you with a case study, and you will be creating a variety of artifacts using different tools and templates. You'll be creating vision document, scope document, project plan, requirements documents, data sheets, risk registers, test cases, use cases, UML diagrams. In other words, by the end of this training program, you would have created a complete suite of documents that you as a business analyst would do in real time, be a job, and also you will be given an opportunity to facilitate the review of your case studies. So we will provision you with access to various templates. If you go to our repository, you will see templates and tools that will be used in each of these different phases. So we will enable you to achieve your goals with our structured approach. And 80% of our students who have taken this training are able to clear an interview in the very first attempt. They do not have any prior BA experience. They do not have any prior IT experience, but they are able to clear the interviews in the first shot itself. Also, we have plenty of materials that we give away. There's a comprehensive student notes that is available to you for reference. Whatever is being discussed in the class is made available, and you can refer to this on an ongoing basis. And also, as I mentioned, there are extra materials, interview tips, templates, and also we will provision you with domain materials. There are different domain materials that are available to you for your reading and understanding at a very detailed level. We are committed to giving you the keys to success. We do it because we're passionate about this training. We're passionate about this subject. So therefore, we want you to succeed. We want you to build a career. We want you to be able to do your job in a successful manner. We want you to be able to stand out from the rest of the crowd. I hope this was informative and interesting. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our sales coordinators and they'll be able to assist you. I look forward to interacting with you in our training program very soon in your city. Thank you. Have a good day.